Hey, how's it going, everybody? Today we're going to read some Mao Zedong. This is in 1938, and this is Dialectical Materialism. So it's out of a whole pamphlet called Dialectical Materialism, and this is the second chapter, Dialectical Materialism. It's self-titled, whereas the first chapter that we read earlier is Idealism and Materialism. So Dialectical Materialism is what we will get into now. It's the second chapter here. So yeah, chapter 2, Dialectical Materialism. And let's see how many sections there is. Six? Six. 6 sections here. Not very long sections apiece, but the last one's kind of longer. But we'll go ahead and read all 6 of them. Okay, so section 1. Dialectical materialism is the revolutionary arm of the proletariat. The Chinese proletariat, having assumed at the present time the historical task of the bourgeois democratic revolution, must make use of dialectical materialism as its mental arm. The study of dialectical materialism is even more indispensable for the cadres who lead the revolutionary movement, because the two erroneous theories and methods of work of subjectivism and mechanism frequently subsist among the cadres, and as a result frequently cause the cadres to go against Marxism and lead the revolutionary movement on the wrong path. If we wish to avoid or correct such deficiencies, the only solution lies in conscious study and understanding of dialectical materialism in order to arm one's brain anew. So this is section 2. The relation between the old philosophical heritage and dialectical materialism. After the May 4th movement of 1919, as a consequence of the conscious appearance of the Chinese proletariat on the political stage and the rise in the scientific level of the country, a Marxist philosophical movement arose and developed in China. In its first period, however, the level of understanding of materialist dialectics within the materialist current of thought was rather weak, and mechanistic materialism, influenced by the bourgeoisie, as well as the subjectivism of Debrin, were its principal components. Following the defeat of the revolution in 1927, the level of understanding of Marxism and Leninism progressed, and the thinking of materialist dialectics gradually developed. Just recently, because of the severity of the national and social crisis, and also because of the influence of the movement for liquidating deviations in Soviet philosophy, a broad movement of materialist dialectics has developed in China's intellectual circles. Because of the backwardness of China's social development, the dialectical materialist philosophical currents developing in China today do not result from taking over and reforming our own philosophical heritage, but from the study of Marxism-Leninism. However, if we wish to ensure that dialectical materialist thought shall penetrate profoundly in China and continue to develop, and shall moreover give firm direction to the Chinese Revolution and lead it to final victory in the future, then we must struggle with all the old and rotten philosophical theories existing in China on the ideological front throughout the whole country, raise the flag of criticism, and in this way liquidate the philosophical heritage of ancient China. Only thus we can attain our goal. This is section 3, the unity of worldview and methodology in dialectical materialism. Dialectical materialism is the worldview of the proletariat. At the same time, it is the method of the proletariat for taking cognizance of the surrounding world, and the method of revolutionary action of the proletariat. It is the unity of worldview and methodology. 4. The question of the object of materialist dialectics. What do materialist dialectics serve to study? Marx, Engels, and Lenin all explain materialist dialectics as the theory of development. Under the heading of the object of philosophy, we must still solve another problem, namely the problem of the unity of dialectics, logic, and epistemology. Materialist dialectics is the only scientific epistemology, and it is also the only scientific logic. Materialist dialectics studies the origin and development of our knowledge of the outside world. It studies the transition from not knowing to knowing and from incomplete knowledge to more complete knowledge. It studies how the laws of the development of nature and society are daily reflected, more profoundly and more extensively in the mind of humanity. This is precisely the unity of materialist dialectics with epistemology. The essence of the concept of development consists in regarding laws as the reflection in and transplanting to our minds. Moreover, further elaborated in our minds of the manifestations of the movement of matter. Only by using materialism to arrive at a solution of the problem of the relations between existence and thought, only by taking one's hand on the theory of the reflection, can one arrive at a thorough solution to the problems of dialectics, logic, and epistemology. So this is 5 on matter. Section 5 on matter. The very first condition for belonging to the materialist camp consists in recognizing the independent existence of the material world, separate from human consciousness. The fact that it existed before the appearance of humanity and continues to exist since the appearance of humanity, independently and outside of human consciousness. To recognize this point is a fundamental premise of all scientific research. How shall we demonstrate this? The proofs are extremely numerous. Humanity is constantly in contact with the external world and must, moreover, struggle fiercely against the pressure and resistance of the outside world, nature, and society. Moreover, we not only must, but can overcome this pressure and resistance. All of these real circumstances of the social practice of humanity, as manifested in the historical development of human society, are the best proof of the existence of the material world. China does not doubt the objective existence of Japanese imperialism, which has invaded our country, nor of the Chinese people themselves. The students of the anti-Japanese military political university also do not doubt the objective existence of this university and of the students themselves. If we consider this thing known as consciousness in the light of thoroughing materialism, that it is to say, in the light of materialist dialectics, then what we call consciousness is nothing else but a form of the movement of matter, a particular characteristic of the material brain of humanity. It is that particular characteristic of the material brain which causes the material processes outside consciousness to be reflected in consciousness. From this, we see that when we distinguish matter from consciousness, and when, moreover, we oppose them one to another, this is only conditional, that is to say, it has meaning only from the standpoint of epistemology. In a word, matter is everything in the universe. All power belongs to Su Mai. We say, all power belongs to matter. This is the source of the unity of the world. So this is section 6 on movement, on development. The first fundamental principle of dialectical materialism lies in its view of matter. This principle of the unity of the world has already been explained above in discussing matter. The second fundamental principle of dialectical materialism lies in its theory of movement, or theory of development. This means the recognition that movement is the form of the existence of matter, an inherent attribute of matter, a manifestation of the multiplicity of matter. This is the principle of the development of the world. The combination of the principle of development of the world with the principle of the unity of the world, set forth above, constitutes the whole of the worldview of dialectical materialism. The world is nothing else but the material world in a process of unlimited development. Dialectical materialism's theory of movement is in opposition, first of all, with philosophical idealism and with the theological concepts of religion. The fundamental nature of all philosophical idealism and religious theology derives from their denial of the unity and material nature of the world, and in imagining that the movement and development of the world takes place apart from matter, or took place at least in the beginning apart from matter, and is the result of the action of spirit, God, or divine forces. The German idealist philosopher, Hegel, held that the present world results from the development of the so-called, quote, world idea, end quote. In China, the philosophy of the Book of Changes and the metaphysics of the Tung and Ming all put forward idealist views of the development of the universe. Christianity says that God created the world. Buddhism and all of China's various fetishist religions attribute the movement and development of all the myriad phenomena, Wan Wu, of the universe to spiritual forces. All of these doctrines, which think about movement apart from matter, are fundamentally incompatible with dialectical materialism. Dialectical materialism considers that rest or equilibrium are merely one element of movement, that they are merely one particular circumstance of movement. A sentence popular with the metaphysical thinkers of ancient China, heaven does not change and the way also does not change, corresponds to a theory of the immobility of the universe. In their view, the basic nature of the universe and of society was eternally unchanging. The reason why they adopted this attitude is to be found primarily in their class limitations. If the feudal landlord class had recognized that the basic nature of the universe and of society is subject to movement and development, then most certainly they would have been pronouncing, in theory, a death sentence on their own class. The philosophies of all reactionary forces are theories of immobilism. Revolutionary classes and the popular masses have all perceived the principle of the development of the world, and consequently advocate transforming society and the world. Their philosophy is dialectical materialism. The causes of the transformation of matter is to be found not without, but within. It is not because of the impulsion of external mechanical forces, but because of the existence within the matter in question of two components, different in their nature and mutually contradictory, which struggle with one another, thus giving an impetus to the movement and development of the matter. As a result of the discovery of the laws of such movement and transformation, dialectical materialism is capable of enlarging the principle of the material unity of the world, extending it to the history of nature and society. Thus, not only it is possible to investigate the world considered as matter in perpetual movement, but the world can also be investigated as matter endlessly in movement from a lower form to a higher form. That is to say, it is possible to investigate the world as development and process. Dialectical materialism investigate the development of the world as a progressive movement from the inorganic to the organic, and from thence to the highest form of movement of matter, society. What we have just discussed is the theory of the movement of the world, or the principle of the development of the world in accordance with dialectical materialism. This doctrine is the essence of Marxist philosophy. If the proletariat and all revolutionaries take up this consistently scientific arm, they will then be able to understand this world and transform the world. Okay, yes, that's Dialectical Materialism. Chapter 2 of Dialectical Materialism. This came out in 1938. So, thank you all for tuning in. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, Medium. Follow me there. Y'all have a great day, and Dodada Goe.